Hi, it's Paul from Hench Herbivore with my 1-month psilocybin mushroom microdosing experiment. Before I begin, just a quick disclaimer. Now, although psychedelics, when approached sensibly, are nothing like as dangerous as some governments have previously reported, and indeed they are being studied in prestigious institutions such as Imperial College London and Johns Hopkins University in America for their mental health benefits, they're not without their potential dangers. Indeed, they are highly illegal also in many countries. For these reasons, know that this video is not me recommending them, and if you are tempted to do them for yourself, please do lots of research so that you don't put yourself at unnecessary risk. Microdosing is taking a psychedelic compound at 1/10 to 1/20th of the hallucinogenic dose. At this level, it's quite imperceivable. People report improved creativity, emotional well-being, and day-to-day functionality. I also learned that the use of psychedelics can cure debilitating cluster headaches and migraines. Indeed, I watched one video where a cluster headache sufferer said were it not for psychedelic mushrooms, because of the intolerable pain, he was ready to take his own life. If you've watched my channel for a while, you may remember this video where I reported that historically I've been suffering with migraines. It would come, I would have them for like days at a time, really debilitating. The main thing being the aura, like the visual disturbances. Could be a daily thing and I'd feel like I just couldn't get on with my life, you know, it would just stop me in my tracks. A little while back, I realized that caffeine was causing them. I ceased the caffeine and they stopped altogether. More recently, to my horror, they started again. Now, migraines are not very well understood. I went to the doctors, they went a lot of help. They put me on tons of pharmaceuticals. I was taking a triptan and also amitriptyline. These are very strong drugs. You know, it could have been horrible side effects potentially, like over time. And I was on the maximum dose and it wasn't even helping. Previously, online, I found a list of the toxicity levels of pharmacological substances. So various drugs, both illegal and pharmaceutical. And, you know, all the pharmaceutical drugs, you know, they were starting towards the top of the list. You know, most toxic coming down. At the bottom of the list was mushrooms. They're the least toxic of everything. I'm very happy to report I don't need any of them pharmaceuticals anymore because the microdosing, it's cured it. I don't get migraines anymore. I couldn't be more happy. As for other benefits, particularly earlier on, I had, you know, when I first started taking them, I had quite a warm, fuzzy feeling a lot of the time, definite improved mood. I was a lot more smiley. Gemma, my partner, noticed it. I hadn't even told her yet that I was doing the microdosing, but it was very pronounced. It's made me enjoy social interactions a little bit more. Certainly, I've noticed how much more grateful I am for my friends, like there's certain ways that they are perhaps something kind they've done or whatever. And I've been a lot more quick to thank them for it, you know, to tell them how much I appreciate them. And with other interactions with people perhaps that I don't enjoy talking to so much, they've been a little bit more bearable. I was hoping to get benefits to my productivity as touted by people who work in Silicon Valley. You know, they work really, really hard coders and such, and supposedly, you know, they work that bit harder and it all flows that little bit more. I didn't notice any of that, and I think the reason being that for the longest time I have been so work focused. I can work from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed potentially. Sometimes I've kind of noticed that the social side of things, like my life wasn't balanced. And because I've been enjoying the social thing, the mushrooms like this made me seek that out. So I've wanted more quality time with my partner Gemma, certainly been more affectionate. And previously, I just didn't make any plans. I made no dates to see friends. Lately, I've been doing that and I've been enjoying it immensely. Despite perhaps not increasing my productivity, the fact that I've had time away from content creation has kind of renewed my excitement for making it. So I think perhaps in a way, like I may still get benefits in the area of business. I've certainly been feeling a bit more creative and inspired, and for a content creator, you know, that's key. So I've been really enjoying that aspect. I'm quite an introspective person, and the mushrooms, I believe, have made me even more so. And as well, I find it even easier to see the perspective of others. So to illustrate that, one day I was at the sink doing the washing up, you know, and I just went internally, I was just thinking about stuff, and it popped into my head about mask wearing and how some people like are really complaining about it, you know, like crazy. And I think like, you know, for me, mask wearing is, if I happen to go to the supermarket, like maybe once a week, I have to put a mask on for like 5 minutes. And I was thinking like, people really don't know when they're well off. And I remembered back as a lad, my mum telling me about how it was for her during World War II when she was a little girl. And so, you know, there was rationing, like they didn't have as much food as they wanted, the clothes were getting tatty, you know, make do and mend and all that, like they didn't have all the resources. And the bombing, like the Blitz, you know, bombs dropping all around. Imagine a poor little girl like running for her life, air raid siren going off, you know, diving in the bunker like underground. If you get a direct hit, you're dead. You know, when you come out of there, you don't know if your house is going to be standing, you don't know if your friends have all been killed. For the first time, you know, I'd heard that story like 40 odd years ago. For the first time, I kind of felt what would it have been like from her perspective. It made me quite tearful, and it's just as though this microdosing really makes life more colourful and you kind of experience more, you know, and even if it's through the eyes of others. So yeah, I found that quite an interesting experience. I'm learning a new skill currently also, interviewing. For this reason, I've stacked the psilocybin mushrooms with lion's mane mushrooms. I understand that the psilocybin creates new neural pathways, and then the lion's mane myelinates these, that is, like cements them in. I feel as though I'm making great progress. If you want to see for yourself, go over to my Instagram account, Hench_Herbivore, and it's my IGTV like back catalogue of videos. There's a few interviews on there. Let me know what you think. And now for the negatives. I'm very happy to report there wasn't much in the way of negatives. The one thing I would say is that some of the benefits, I think more the emotional ones, were much more pronounced in weeks 1 and 2. Weeks 3 and 4, I feel like I'm not really noticing much. I have a feeling that I may have oversaturated the receptors. The reason I say this is because I've been quite greedy with it. Instead of doing the standard Fadiman method, which is 1 day on, 2 days off, I went for the Stamets method, which is 4 days on, 3 days off. So you know, you're getting much more days where you're taking a compound. And previously, the Stamets method was actually 5 days on, 2 days off. So then when someone cuts down the amount of days that you're taking a compound and increases the time off, normally that's because the receptors get saturated, and obviously he's realised that. And I think that perhaps that's maybe still too much, or at least for me. So were I to do this again, I would definitely do the Fadiman approach and you know, see if that took care of that little problem. Do you have experience of microdosing? If so, please comment below, let me know how you got on. And now click this.